Hello, my name is Martha Papathanasiou, and I've been working as the work package leader for Work Package 9 on capacity building and education for the Bridge BS project. My expertise is in science communication and ocean literacy, and I would like to welcome you to this module on marine science communication and ocean literacy. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore why communicating marine science matters, some practical strategies, some stakeholder tools, and how to build ocean literate societies with examples from the Black Sea and the Bridge BS project. These are the contents of the Mooc that you'll be experiencing in the next few minutes. So I'd like you to take a look at part 1, part 2, and part 3. Together, we'll be exploring part 1. So marine science communication, why does it matter? Why is it important? Well, the oceans face urgent pressures and challenges. These include overfishing, pollution, climate change. Scientific research gives us evidence about these threats. However, this is not enough. The solutions are there and the research is there, but science alone is not enough to make a difference. We must ensure that findings are understood, trusted, and used by policymakers, by stakeholders, and of course by the public. Effective communication builds trust, informs policy, encourages behavior change, and raises awareness of threats and practical responses. Yet communicating marine science is sometimes very challenging and very difficult. This is due to the complexity of the science and for a variety of reasons as well. Marine systems are complex and full of data. There's scientific jargon involved a lot of times, which can alienate non-experts. The timelines for research and policy are sometimes not matching each other, and there's misinformation and public disengagement can also be real problems in communicating marine science. Audiences are often quite diverse, and it's not easy to create a one approach that suits everyone. This is the number one rule. And of course, it's a good practice to be transparent about what we know and don't know and avoid false certainty. Another good way to overcome these challenges is to use relatable analogies and visuals, and of course, to tailor our messages to the audience's needs and values. These are some of the good practices that we need to use when communicating complex issues to the public. Now, going over some strategies for effective communication, we need to use visuals. We need to use media and storytelling as much as possible. Storytelling has proven to be a very effective way to communicate complex science to a variety of audiences. Infographics as well can also work in our favor, can help us communicate science in a very effective and engaging way. Short videos, photos, and engaging narratives can simplify complexity and retain attention of the public. So a simple storytelling arc works well. You can set up the context, the stakes, introduce the conflict or the contradiction in order to engage your audience, and then discuss the conclusion and the actions. It's a very useful tip. So even when you're posting simple things or when you're trying to get attention on social media, you can just replace and with but. Or therefore, which often builds a clearer story and improves engagement. So know your audience and frame your messages accordingly. So narratives and metaphors, for example, the ocean as the heartbeat of the planet, help people connect emotionally rather than panic. So aim for concern and responsibility rather than panic. This is what I'm trying to say overall. Choose a language that is fits your specific groups, okay? Avoid jargon and complex words that the audience might not be familiar with, and stick to that language when you're trying to speak or get the attention of policymakers or scientists. They will probably understand much better what you're trying to say when it's for specific groups, for fishers or for people who are working in marine science. But when you're working with the general public, for example, you want to be as simple and as clear as possible. Digital platforms like social media also, you need to remember that they give real-time reach, but also bear in mind the cultural and technological context. It's not everyone that uses social media, and so make sure that you combine online with offline engagement. And think above all that you need to be, that communication is about connection. So you need to be transparent, you need to be ethical, and you need to be inclusive. So some stakeholder tools that you need to consider they need different tools. Different stakeholder groups have different needs. Therefore, that means that they need different tools as well. Policymakers respond better to synthesis briefs, for example, in science policy documents. Fishers, on the other hand, might prefer practical guidance delivered through local workshops. So you need to be thinking as well what sort of tools you'll be using to reach each target group. On the contrary, youth engage better via platforms like Instagram, so via reels, via interactive campaigns. And of course, the media always need clear, quotable findings and visuals. So always remember that you need to tailor the format, the tone, and the delivery to each audience for a greater impact. Okay, so social media operates on they're real time, they have a broad reach, and you always need to consider the cultural and regional context before you send out your messages. Okay, so these are the stakeholder tools that we mentioned earlier. So before you reach out to stakeholders, make sure that you have decided on the right tool and the right platform that you wish to reach out to them through that. Now, communicating the Black Sea and Black Sea science and the bridge approach. The bridge project, well, basically demonstrated a 360-degree communication approach. We tried a lot of different approaches in order to cover all the different target groups that were the bridge project was aiming at. It was a multi-channel coordinator strategy, which delivered consistent messages across websites, social media, printed materials, events, and of course, a lot of educational activities. So here in this project, we combined scientific outputs with storytelling. We created a variety of videos. Some of them were for social media, some reels, some articles, and of course, we paired digital research with on-site activities like beach cleanups and festivals. And the aim here was to convert viewers into active contributors. Okay, we wanted people to participate in our activities, people who monitor, spread awareness, and support policy to address threats such as habitat destruction, climate change, overfishing, invasive species, and mineral extraction. Now, youth engagement overall played a really, really important role in Bridge. And they're central to sustained change, of course. So the Black Sea Young Ambassadors were a very, very important group within the project. They exemplify how youth networks bring fresh perspectives, relatability, and peer-to-peer reach through platforms like Instagram, where we did takeover competitions and some other activities that were promoted through Instagram, through reels and webinars. And of course, always remember that youth engagement amplifies visibility, relatability, and supports long-term behavior change because it begins at a young age. So it's better to engage people or youth at a younger age, and they continue to be responsible and informed adults in society later on. So it links science, communication with policy and innovation. So make sure that you design some educational, creative youth engagement activities in your communication approach. Present scientific uncertainty as part of the process. You need to offer clear, feasible actions that audiences can take. That can be from participation in citizen science to advocating for evidence-based policy. And some final tips that I can share is that you need to communicate clearly. You need to listen to and tailor the messages that you want to send to your audience, and use as much storytelling and visuals as possible. Combine digital and in-person channels, because that gives a sense of stewardship and increases the amount or the extent of how relatable it is to someone, to the place they live, and how they can contribute to the activities that you're creating, and involve youth to build long-term change. Of course, if you'd like to explore more examples and resources from BridgeBS, you can follow our project, BridgeBS, or visit bridgeblacksea.org. And thank you for joining this short overview of marine science communication and ocean literacy. I hope you really enjoyed it.
Welcome to this course. My name is Faidra Bazigou, and I'm a marine scientist working as a science communicator for the last 7 years for INDIGO-MED, which leads the capacity building work package of the BridgeBS project. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about ocean literacy as the foundation for effective marine communication and explore how we can engage society, especially youth, in understanding and protecting our ocean. Ocean literacy means understanding how the ocean affects us and how we affect the ocean. An ocean literate person recognizes the ocean's importance, can communicate about it meaningfully, and makes informed, responsible decisions about how we use and protect its resources. In short, it's about awareness, communication, and action grounded in our connection to the ocean. Building on that definition, ocean literacy is guided by a set of essential principles. These principles explain how the ocean shapes our planet, supports life, and influences climate, weather, and human well-being. They also remind us that the ocean is largely unexplored and that our actions directly affect its health. Together, these principles form the backbone of marine education and communication, helping people understand not just what the ocean does, but why it matters to every aspect of our lives. Principle 1 reminds us that there is only one global ocean divided into major basins, the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic. It's all connected by the global conveyor belt, moving heat, water, and air. It is interesting to say that ocean floor has mountains, ridges, and trenches like the Mariana Trench, which is deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Principle 2 highlights that the ocean and life in the ocean shape the features of Earth. Most land rocks are formed underwater. Limestone and chert are, for example, biological products created from the bodies of microscopic sea life foraminifers and coccoliths. The ocean also shapes coastlines through erosion and deposition. Here are some impressive artworks of the sea. And here's a fun fact too. Even famous volcanoes, like Vesuvius, have an oceanic origin. It's incredible to see how much the ocean has influenced the very features of Earth we live on today. Principle 3. The ocean's influence on weather and climate. The ocean stores and moves heat, water, and CO2, shaping weather and climate. Rain, oxygen, and carbon cycling all depend on it. Events like El Niño effect affect global weather, and interestingly, algae like asparagopsis can help fight climate change by reducing cow methane emissions. Principle 4 highlights that the ocean is essential for life on Earth. Life began in the ocean, which gave Earth its oxygen. Tiny plankton produce most of the oxygen we breathe and help store carbon, making the ocean vital for life on land. Principle 5 emphasizes that the ocean is home to an enormous diversity of life. It actually hosts more diverse life than land, from microbes to blue whales. Deep sea ecosystems can survive without sunlight. Estuaries and reefs are biodiversity hotspots, while much of the ocean is like a desert. Principle 6 reminds us that the humans and the ocean are deeply interconnected. We rely on the ocean for food, oxygen, medicine, travel, and climate regulation. Most people live near the coast. At the same time, pollution, overuse, and climate impacts threaten ocean health. Our actions truly matter. Principle 7 highlights that most of the ocean remains a mystery. We have explored only a small fraction of the seafloor. New technologies, underwater robots, and satellites are helping us discover more. The future of ocean science depends on creativity, teamwork, and new ideas, maybe even yours. So what could scientists do for ocean literate societies? Actually, scientists play a crucial role in building ocean literate societies. They conduct research, share findings through talks, publications, and public outreach, and work with policymakers to guide decisions affecting the ocean. They also support education through programs and materials and use digital platforms to reach wider audiences. In short, scientists help society understand, value, and protect the ocean, turning knowledge into action. Thank you for joining me throughout this course and for taking the time to explore how important is ocean literacy for communicating marine science.